Okay, so this is a problem that people had difficulty with in the last quiz, or one very similar to this. So the idea is that the question was, to find several different things, but you need several steps to get there. So the main goal is to find the measure of an angle or the measure of an arc. But all the information that you have is that you can see there's a quadrilateral. It's inscribed. So we have an inscribed quadrilateral. And we have four angles, of course. And we don't have any specific information other than these expressions. So each one of these expressions represents the measure of the angle. And we have to be able to find out what the angles are. So let's say we're trying to find out the measure of angle C, for instance. Okay, so let's say we need to find the measure of angle C. Now, if you look at angle C, okay, angle BCD, or just plain old angle C, there's no information at all for angle C. So we're going to have to take a few steps before that. So the first thing you want to do is start looking at this and asking yourself, well, what information do we have? What information do we know about this? And then possibly some sort of strategy that we can come up with. So it's an inscribed quadrilateral. So one of the first things you should be thinking of is the inscribed quadrilateral angle theorem, okay, which says that the opposite angles are supplementary. Okay, so that means if we take the measure of angle A and add it to the measure of angle C, we get 180 degrees. However, if you look at this, we have a problem because we still don't know anything about angle C, and this isn't going to help us. So, but if we look at the other two angles, maybe we can figure something out there. So what we can do is we can look at this and say measure angle B plus measure angle D equals 180. So this doesn't tell us anything about angle C, but at least it tells us something about X. And if we can find out something about X, so, just think about the thought process. If we can think about something find out what X is, we should be able to find out what this angle is. We should be able to find out what this angle is. We should be able to find out what this angle is. Now, this is the angle that would be key, because if we know what this angle is, then we can go back up here and find out what number we have to add to that to get 180. Now, I hope all of that's making sense. So we're going to go back to these two angles right here. These are opposite angles in an inscribed quadrilateral, so that means they're supplementary. So we're going to plug in, this is 4x plus 12. We're going to replace measure of angle 1 with this expression. And then we're going to replace measure of angle D with this expression. So that becomes 11x plus 18 equals 180. So that's the first thing you want to be doing, is looking at the quadrilateral, thinking about what information we know about it, how we can use it, and then just start plugging it in. So we want to solve this equation for x. We want to find out what that is. Like terms are what we can put together. So if we have 4x's here, this is literally what that says, 4x's. 4 times x and 11 times x, we have 11x's, 4x's. How many x's do we have all together? Well, we have 15. 4 plus 11, 15x plus 12. We have this and this. These are the like terms. Positive 12, positive 18. When we combine these, 12 plus 18 gives us 30. Okay. So the other thing that gave people a little bit of trouble was just solving the equations. Solving the equation for a variable, you want to isolate the variable. Think about all the operations you have. So this is a multiplication. 5 times 15 times x plus 30 equals 18. So we want to isolate x, means we get x all by itself. So when you want to apply the inverse operations to reverse or undo the operation that was done. And the easiest way to do that is if you think about the order of operations, you just go backwards from that. So the order of operations, remember, you multiply first, then add or subtract. Well, since we're going backwards, we want to reverse that order. So the easiest way is to deal with this first. So we're going to subtract 30. Now the reason we subtract 30 is that's the opposite of addition, and that's going to undo this. So it's going to get rid of this. Negative 30, positive 30 and negative 30 cancel each other out. They're inverses. And so positive 30 plus negative 30 or minus 30 is 0. Okay, so it's going away in a sense. It's turning into a 0. So we have 15x plus 0, but we don't really need this part anymore, right? So we have 15x equals, and then here it's 150. Now 15x, this kind of a sloppy way of saying it, but it's 15 times x. So keep in mind the operation. The inverse operation is division. So we show division with a fraction bar. We divide. So 15 divided by 15 is 1. So we end up with 1x, which is the same as 1. Now once we've got that, we know what this is, 10, we can plug this in up here, but more importantly, we can plug it in up here. So this is 9 times 10 is 90 minus 18. Now that's going to give you 72. Now this is angle A, which is over here. So now we can use that. Instead of saying measure angle A, we put 72. And then measure angle C equals 180. So 72 plus measure angle C equals 180. Subtract 72 from both sides. And the measure angle C equals 108 degrees. And that's how you can find